Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Dynasty. It's a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm Chris Stewart, joined by the national champions, AJ McCarron, Trent Richardson. New episodes dropping each week on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. The hub is thedynastybama.com, and also all across social media, you can follow us at The Dynasty Bama. Coming up today, we're going to take you inside what it's like to prepare for the NFL draft, as the combine is just around the corner. We'll also talk a little bit about what it's like to prepare for the start of your first UFL season. If you happen to be a new head coach within the league, let's just throw a random team out, Birmingham Stallions, as an example, and discuss the Big Ten's 24-team playoff plan and a little hoops as well. Bama basketball, big game against Arkansas coming up on Wednesday. Gentlemen, good to see you both. And let's start a little bit different venue for Coach AJ McCarron, yes, of the Birmingham Stallions. You're about to start camp, and you're already at the headquarters. But I was not aware. Probably most of our audience is not, AJ, of what the preseason deal kind of looks like for all you guys and where camp originates from.
Yeah, we're in Arlington, Texas, and players, let's see, we got here a day or two ago. Players will get here on Friday.
All teams, right?
Yep, all teams. So all 8 teams in the league are here. We're in our headquarters building. It's an awesome, beautiful building that's sits kind of in between AT&T, Globe Life, and Choctaw.
Okay.
So you're right here in the heart, next to Texas Live, which is a great spot. Bunch of cool spots to eat at, watch games, bars if you like that. Hell, I might be on my way to drinking. And we'll discuss that at a later date.
Trent, here's the part I've been wanting to ask him. I've been wanting to ask him for 3 days, thinking about this and seeing texts go back and forth between us. AJ, how many phone calls a day are you making to Nick Saban?
Well, I ain't made any yet. He don't want to deal with it. He's never dealt with some of the shit I'm dealing with.
That's true.
I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest with you.
Right.
It's different, okay, but no, it's been great. So we're waiting on the players to get here. They'll travel on the 19th. First team meeting on the 20th. They'll do exams, doctor visits, all the fun stuff for about the first full day and a half, and then we're starting practice on the 23rd. So we'll be right in this thing.
Yep. All right. Hey, before we get going, I had not even seen the story myself. You guys may or may not have, but our producer is the best, Steve Gorgie, dropped in a note for today, said that Latsier Brooks, the great freshman wideout this year for the Crimson Tide, apparently involved in a car accident over the weekend, but he is okay. Just thankful that he's all right and apparently going to be just fine. Looks like I'm just getting from what Steve has told me about this. Apparently he's going to be just fine, not miss any time. But guys, that's a piece of it that we don't even think about. When you go injuries, you go off-season stuff, man, that's a scary part, Trent, for coaches. You work with high school kids in addition to being a dad. You just hope that phone ain't ringing after 7 o'clock at night, because that's not a good thing if coaches are getting that phone call. Ordinarily, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, as a father, the most scariest thing I had a couple weeks ago, my daughter friends called and said that my daughter she was getting rushed to the hospital or urgent care, and it was like 12 or 1 at night. And it was scary for me because I'm like, first of all, urgent care is not open at this time of night. What the hell is going on, right?
Yeah.
And, she ended up being okay. They was called themselves want to play football and all this other stuff, and somebody hit, somebody in the head with an elbow or something, and, didn't try to. But it was one of those things when they was playing, and, I kind of jumped there a little bit, but not jumped there, but it was like one of those things where it's like, okay, they just kids being kids, college kids. But, one thing that you're, scared of, getting that phone call like your daughter is having something, wrong with her, health wise, or she might have a concussion. Like that's, like, what is going on, as a father,
Right.
even, for any kids, man, but, especially for a coach, to be getting a call at that late, like man, that's one thing we try to do, and I know AJ can tell you the same thing, not call home to our parents when we got something going on. But we hear stuff like this, man, or accident, and you see a guy on social media, with a neck brace on, it just scares the world. It scares, first as a father, but as a coach, like, what's going on with my player, what's going on, who was with him. Cause I know when we was going to school, once you see one of us, you seen like 5 or 6 of us. And so, who was involved, what was going on, is he okay? Did you have an accident with somebody else? It's all type of stuff that runs into it. And so, at this time of year, this is when guys, get bored, get a little antsy, and now guys got money. And so now, you thinking about these kids 24/7. And so it's just a scare tactic, man. You just don't want to have on both ends, as a father, as a coach, and for a player too. Man, I used to get scared when Coach Saban used to call me in the middle of the night, and another player be out on the strip. Somebody that got into an argument or disagreement, and I used to have to go get them, and to get cussed out for that early in the morning, about 1, 2 in the morning. And listen, your coach know what's going on. Nick knew everything what was going on that strip and everything that was going on with each player. And he know who to call, to calm the things that calm, situation down, or, to go make sure that, hey, it's your team, this is your, it's your teammate. Make sure you cover your guys. And so he used to always tell you, if it's after 12, it ain't good for you.
I definitely understand that, especially as a dad myself. AJ, let's talk about the NFL draft season. And you're getting ready for the start of the UFL season with the Stallions, but the draft combine, something you and Trent know a lot about. 12 Alabama players invited to the combine. Tell me about these 4 months between the time the season ends and the draft itself. As a prospect, what are some of the challenges? Is it fun at all? Scary? Give me some thoughts on what this time frame is like for a prospect.
Yeah, I think it's everything you just described. I think it's exciting. I think it is nerve-wracking, and scary at times because listen, you can only control what you can, and then it's up to, you know, 32 teams if they like you or not. Um, so, but it's fun. I mean, you're, preparing to go to the combine, you're preparing for the draft. You got so many different avenues. You're also getting pulled from a media standpoint and a sponsorship standpoint, and figuring out who's going to sign a, what shoe deal. I mean, it's all over the place. But listen, it's very few get to experience this in the grand scheme of things. So take it in, enjoy it, but it's definitely nerve wracking at the same time, just because you really don't know what you're getting yourself into, and it's all new to everybody. But it's definitely enjoyable. It only happens once, so have fun with it.
Let's talk about the off-season news from around the country, and it's big in the SEC. It impacts Alabama because it's an SEC member school. But Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss, Trent, gets the temporary injunction. He is going to be able to play in 2026. When you combine his return with the fact that Ole Miss is bringing in the number 2 transfer class, what do you think Ole Miss can actually be in Pete Golding's first full season as the head coach? And what does that do to expectations there?
I I could see him being another playoff team again. You know, when you have that quarterback, especially that's, used to your system and has been around those players for a while, and it's a lot of respect in that room. And so for this guy to fight back, and to try to do whatever he can to get back to college football, that says a lot about him to his teammates. And so, it's a lot more respect. And so you expect, especially with having a number 2 class coming in, far as recruiting, transfer portal, all this other stuff, man, it's different, man. So I've never. I tell you what, my first year we had Greg, and have him come back the second year. We was comfortable with it, but we seen a battle go on, and so, but for us, we was still partying off 2009, and so those guys haven't had the success of winning a national championship, and so I think this year they would be even more hungry. To
Yeah.
get back to the game and win it. I think those guys from the 2008 season, they were so caught up on, making it to the SEC championship. But our whole goal that next year was to win the championship, win
Right.
the SEC championship, win the national championship. And those because of the guys that came before us, and they've been there, they've done that, and their night and day goal was to get to the SEC championship. Not to win. And I ain't saying they didn't want to, but when you have that type of mindset to, we're for to win this whole thing no matter what. And you got guys that returned that felt that that man, we was right there. Oh man, we should have did this and did that. They're not gonna let it happen again. And so,
Yeah.
man, I think that's big for him. It's big for the SEC, but it's crazy for the guys that's gonna have to play against this young fella. Because listen, he hungry, and this guy, he's ready to play.
AJ, what about for you, where it's related
Yeah,
to Ole
I mean,
Miss?
I think the expectations are high for Pete. I think Pete's done a great job from a recruiting standpoint, the retaining standpoint side of it as well. I mean, they did a really good job um, from running back. I believe I'm right. Lacey's staying, signing an extension. I think they did that in the playoffs when everybody thought he was going to LSU with Lane. So you got him. If you can get Trinidad and keep him, get him to win this this case and it be upheld, then I mean you're in the driver's seat from a offensive standpoint. So only adding talent in the portal is only going to help. But I think the expectations are high. I think Pete's helped set that. Of course, with Lane being there, and then now it's his show. I mean, the run they went on in the playoffs. I don't know how many people truly thought they would go on that run, to be honest with you. And so you're really, one play away from playing in the national championship. Really and truly. So, um, I think it's going to be a great year for Ole Miss. To be honest with you, I think, like Trent said, they're hungry. They've had that taste of what it feels like to make the playoffs, get really close, and I'm sure Pete's pushing them to get over that next hump.
Let me run another one by you. Is Trinidad Chambliss, Trent, the preseason all SEC quarterback first team, or is it somebody? I mean, you got a list. It's not like it's by any chance a shoe in. Gunnar Stockton, Arch Manning, Sam Levitt, Lenora Sellers, John Mateer, Marcel Reed. I still think whoever wins the starting job at Alabama can be really, really good and might have the type of year that would put them in conversation for all this. What do you think? Is Trinidad Chambliss the best returning quarterback in the league?
Yes, I don't think it's not a question. He went the farthest, and without him, you take him off that team, I don't think they go as far. Because he's special, man. He can do stuff with his legs. He he can make stuff happen in the pocket. He's not scared, to take a hit, and he's not scared to. He's smart enough to, extend plays, and so, having a
Yeah.
guy like that, and he can hit the target too. So having a guy like that is different. And I know we got these other guys. I mean, I think Gunnar Stockton might be the next one. But and I like Sellers, and And I like what, Arch came along at the end of the season, but I think hands down, it's definitely, Trinidad. I mean, Trent,
Yeah.
Trinidad.
AJ, I set it up one way and then actually asked the question another to Trent, which was my fault. But do you think here's what I'm going to go with for you? Is Chambliss going to be the best quarterback in the league this year?
I don't know. Listen, I think he's super talented. I love watching the guy play. I think I view everything being a quarterback. I view it different. I don't think Trent's wrong by any means. I mean, what the kid's shown has been unbelievable. He's also didn't play a full season. And your second year as a starter is your toughest year because teams actually have film on you and know how to play you now. So it's going to be interesting to see once teams have a full off season on to see and break down film on what this kid struggles at. It might be, hey, throws outside of the numbers to his left. He only completed 32% of his passes all year long.
Yeah.
He was 58%, 20 yards downfield to his right. He was 67% down 20 yards down the middle. Like there's a full off season helps other coaching staffs and teams pick up on what your weak spots are. So I would still give the nod to Gunner. I think overall body of work, Gunner has shown Georgia's been in it every year. He's just got to develop as a passer. Do I think he's the best player? No. I think you got Trinidad. I think Arch is right there. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think it's a great year for the SEC and quarterback play, though. I think you got a lot of big name guys and a lot of returning starters, so it should be fun.
I agree, and I mentioned the Bama guys. The guy at Auburn that transfers from South Florida, I think could determine whether that's a 6-win team at Auburn or one that gets to 9, outside shot at 10, and best case scenario for them. So it will be interesting. Another guy, we're going to talk about him on the other side of the breaks. Tennessee's Joey Aguilar got or waiting on a result on his case, trying to get back for the Vols in 2026. We'll discuss that, and also the Big Ten pushing for 24 teams in the college football playoff. We'll let AJ get really ticked off about that piece of it when we come back here on The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're back on The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. YouTube, Apple, Spotify is where you can find us in podcast form every week. It's thedynastybama.com for the hub to find each of those. And also at The Dynasty Bama is our social media handle. Hope that you will share, review after you listen, and hope you like what you hear. I'm Chris, along with AJ and Trent. Let's go back one more thing related to quarterbacks in the SEC. Another name we mentioned or could mention with the others, depending on what happens with this court ruling for him, which is what all college sports stuff seems to be these days. Joey Aguilar, into last week in court, trying to get final year or another year back. Let me clarify that. Based on what he gave the Vols last season, what kind of an impact, AJ, do you think he would have this year for Tennessee?
Oh, I mean, who would be a huge playmaker for him? I mean, hell, he was playing
enough to win a league.
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen enough out of Tennessee. You think they're going to be better and then kind of just fall off. It's like they start off great and then as the year goes on, they kind of fall apart. But I tell you what, to start the year out and then the way he played in the what I believe Georgia-Tennessee game, was unreal. I mean, that was a shootout. They were going back and forth, both quarterbacks playing well. So he's a huge playmaker for him, and I think difference maker. And it always helps when you got a returning starter at that position. So, to have his year of experience as a starter, listen, I'm just gonna be honest though, it's so hard for me to keep up with who the hell's in college football. Where we got from 18 to 30-year-olds and guys playing 8 years of college football. Like I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you think it gives teams advantages now, like far as defenses that, now you might have a few college coaches in the SEC, college quarterbacks in the SEC that it's a second year for them now because everybody's transferring in and they only really getting 1 year. And now they got 2 years because, like I know, now we got film on you. Now we can see what you can do. It's a little different, when you're just being there for 1 year and we don't really got film on you. We don't really know what you can do. And now we got you for 2 years now. So does that, do you think the college for SEC, do you think the quarterback play will be down or do you think it'd be better because of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's tougher from an offensive standpoint than it is anything else. So I think it plays in the hands of defensive coaches, especially when certain coaches have their certain systems and don't evolve or change schematically during the from season to season. So they're great at what they do. They're going to line up and run it, and you got to stop it. Like Georgia. Georgia's not coming out next year running speed option a ton, right? I mean, they're going to be under center. They're going to pound the rock. They're going to play action pass. They'll throw in some QB runs in there, zone read, stuff like that. But I think, yeah, when you have your second year, it's tougher offensively when teams have a full all season and can prepare for a certain quarterback that they've seen already.
AJ, you've got 2 guys behind Aguilar. George McIntyre, 17th best quarterback in the class of 2025. Gazon Brandon, number 3 overall player in the class of 2026. It's not they don't have some talent there, but they don't have any experience. I know that may or may not be, based on what you guys were just talking about, as big a deal as it once was. But still, far better to give those guys a chance to learn as understudies than to push them out there as day one starters, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we don't know what we're getting. That's not that's a little frightening as a coach. So yeah, it's always better to know what you're getting than not have a clue. So we'll see.
Yeah. And Trent, for everybody else, I would think it's, confidence and rapport that's built up, if nothing else. And
Yeah.
when you got some history with a guy that's under center and is, by definition of the position, your leader.
Yeah, especially when you done had a guy that had success there, and the team is comfortable with him, and you come in, you have a guy that you don't know much about or seen him in a starting role to be the guy coming in, and you are already comfortable with a guy and you're used to a guy, and he's had a ton of success there. Now, if a guy that haven't had a ton of success and they just ready to push him out the door, I think that's different. So. I think guys, they're gonna be comfortable with him if he come back, and he did a lot of things at Tennessee, especially like AJ said, especially in that shootout with Georgia.
Let's talk about something that's had a lot of conversation. We all know the Big Ten and the SEC are the major conferences and kind of the leaders, not just on the field, but also from a power and administrative standpoint. The SEC was pretty comfortable with 12. The Big Ten's wanting 24. It's why I think we're going to go to 16. sooner rather than later. But the Big Ten's got the proposal, and Steve Gorky's got it up there on the screen for us. They want to eliminate conference championship games. You'd have the top 23 ranked teams plus a guaranteed group of 6 participant. The top 8 teams get buys, 8 first-round games on campus, 8 second-round games on campus. Neutral sites start with a quarterfinal round. The Big wants the format to grow to a 16 playoff for 27-28 and then move to 24 no later than 29. And you see there, Steve's put up the mock bracket based on the rankings of 2025. AJ, let's start with you. In concept at all, the only part of that really appeals to me, or the only reason any of it appeals to me, is frankly elimination of conference championship games almost sounds good to me. I don't know if I truly feel that way or not, but that part, if you're going to have 16 teams, almost seems to make sense, let alone 24.
Yeah, I mean, I just wonder what the hell we're doing. This is just we're gonna hit it. It's a shit show. I mean, guys, there's going to be some bad football in the playoffs if we go to 24 teams. I mean, some bad football.
Yeah.
I mean, look at 11 and 12. The last two that made it in from a sense of when you say the group of 5 teams. I mean, they were blowouts. And we're talking about adding 12 more teams?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are we talking about? Like, I understand it's a money grab, but golly, this is going to be terrible. We're lengthening the season, and for guys to have more games on their body, higher chance of getting hurt because you're playing more games. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's, you know, a famous comedian. What I love him, Sebastian Maniscalco. And he gets down. He's like, "What are we doing?"
Exactly. I know what
Like,
you're talking about.
is nobody embarrassed anymore to like even bring this up? Like, are you not embarrassed to just keep throwing this stupid shit out there? Like, you can't be serious looking at this and saying, "Oh, this is a great plan." Like, no. What are we doing? That's all. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Typical. It's a great plan in their minds because they've never had to endure anything like it.
Yeah.
And go through it. They're not the ones having to play it. It's just counting the money.
Yeah.
Is what they do, and it's all about the student athlete.
And then you're taking the history of the game away. Like, SEC championship has a ton of history. Like, why are we changing the tradition and history of college football? Like, it's enough. Like, just let it play out. Everybody can't be a winner. We can't hand out trophies to everybody. What are we doing?
This reminds me a lot, Trent, just in terms of the power play, the SEC and the Big 12, and I hope the SEC wins as they did in the other. But, you know, in COVID, Big Ten says, we're not playing. There will be no college football this year. And Greg Sankey said, y'all have a good time with that. We're playing. And we put together a 10-game regular season. And then there was a playoff. And the SEC had the best team, maybe one of the best, if not the best, one of the most dominant seasons in the history of the game. Different type year, but team was loaded, was good. It would have been a shame to not have that team play for and then ultimately win a national championship because they were sitting out on COVID. But it looks like, to me, Trent, it's one of those type deals where it's the power play among the conference offices as to getting to say, look at us, we won.
Man, look, man, whoever made this trash, like this is stupid. Like, and I don't like to call people out their name. This situation here is stupid. Like, first of all, you have the Big 12 with more bids than the SEC. Like, what are we talking about here? I get it. SEC ain't won one in 3 years. I get it. But the last 25 years, we probably have won 20 of them. At least something close to it. And so for you to sit there and say the SEC get it, 17 bid or something like that, I'm looking at this right?
I think that's based on what you're looking at is probably last year. I mean, that's the 2025 if it had played out. Am I right with that, Steve?
Yeah, because the Big 12 would have
right?
5. The SEC would have 7 in this thing. Big 10, 6. Big 12, 5. ACC, 3?
Yeah.
And then you get the group of 5 with Notre Dame at 3.
That's not guaranteed every year. That's just what happened based on last year's.
Got you. Okay, I'm about to say, like,
yeah, that's the deal there. And that would be incredibly stupid, but it's not so stupid that it doesn't fall in line with some of the other stuff they're suggesting. So I see where you I can see where you'd get confused with it.
It's
completely.
Stupid for sure.
It's still stupid.
Yeah,
still
exactly.
Like,
again, we'll keep it in the South. Go Forest Gump. Stupid is.
Yeah, Mama say stupid
does,
is, stupid does. Like this.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna get some shrimp, and then we'll come back. AJ won't be with us though. Coach McCarron's got some work to do with the Stallions, putting the rest of it together. Hey, looking forward to the season. We're less than a month away from kickoff for your first year with the Stallions.
Yep, March 27th will be the opening game of the year in Louisville, playing against Chris Redmond's team. So I'm excited. They said it's already sold out game, so
awesome.
Should be pretty fun.
Well, Trent and I'll be there to run out on the field first, leading the
Let's
team out. And Trent wants a carry, and I'm going to want medical attention after I lead him out.
You want me to carry what?
Yeah. Carry me to the hospital.
Carry the flag out? Giddy up.
AJ, take care, buddy. When we come back, me and Trent will be talking about Bama basketball. The Tide heading to the back stretch of the SEC season, still very much in the thick of the race and potentially a really good seed in the NCAA tournament. Stay with us. We're back on The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Back for the final segment this week here on The Dynasty, a podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. We let Coach A.J. McCarron roll a little bit earlier to get back to his prep for the first season as head coach of the Birmingham Stallions. He's out in Dallas getting ready for the start of the UFL campaign in less than a month. So, Trent, it's you and me here in this last segment talking a little hoops, and I know you've been at some games. Obviously, I do the play-by-play for Bama basketball as well as football, so I've seen most of it this year, certainly since we've gotten into SEC play. And Bama beating South Carolina the other night, a 14-point win. They've won 4 straight there, and trying to carry a little momentum. Again, I don't know how much you've seen, but gaining momentum in this league is so important, and 4 straight right now is a pretty good run to be in as you're heading in, I think, the last 8 conference games coming up this week when they take on Arkansas.
Yeah, only who can just win out, right?
Yeah, that's asking a lot. But,
yeah, that's asking a lot.
But it could. They definitely could.
Yeah, I definitely love what I've been seeing, man, especially these last 4 games. I think we got woken up when playing against Florida, and, they came out so explosive, and, they kind of, took it to us, at the end of the game and stuff. And they just kind of showed that they was, we need to get better in shape and, rebound a little bit more. And I think that's what Coach, took on. I see the guys, they're working their tail off. That doggone Latrell been coming up big, man.
Yeah, Latrell Reitzel.
Yeah, he had 21 points. Was it Ole Miss game? He had 21 points and came up, big in the final. Was it LeBaron? He came up big in the final moments, man. Them guards has been playing ball and getting their, big guys involved too. So, man, you see something like that, and guys crashing the boards now and they get into it, man. I know we lost Charlie, and I mean, we've been on a roll and they haven't messed up anything, as far as the, team camaraderie and stuff like that, man, and being able to, come together. So I'm gonna be in the house tomorrow, be in the house when they play Arkansas, and I can't wait, man. I'm gonna be excited, just to see the guys go out there and, compete and, see what Coach K, bring to town. It's the first time they're gonna be able to meet this year and until they get to the SEC conference um till they get to all the SEC stuff and
Tournament,
tournament and probably going into March Madness, right? And so it's been big and it's been fun. It's been a weirder year for us, but we still got a chance to get that first bye week. We go out there and compete and do what we're supposed to do. I think we got 4 teams tied for third right now.
Florida's leading the league 10-2. You got Arkansas 9-3, but yeah, Bama in a 4-way tie for third with Vandy, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Some of those teams play on Tuesday night, which is the evening after we record on Tuesday morning this podcast. So not sure how it's going to play out, but Bama and Arkansas do play on Wednesday, and for Bama to be able to get into a tie for second in the league would be awfully, awfully big. And you're right. A big reason why they've got a good shot is across the board playing well, but Latrell Wrightsell averaging 20 points per game over the last couple of games. And in a note that Stephen has for us is that he says coming off the bench. And that, to me, is one of the big reasons why this team's got a chance to continue to improve and make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. This is a veteran guy who volunteered to come off the bench because they were having to go with instead of the 3 smaller guards. I mean, when you have Charles Bediako on your roster, you could afford to play both he and Aiden Sherrill and go really big at 4 and 5 and play the 3 smaller guards all at once with Holloway, Philon at the point, and Wrightsell at the 3, basically. But without Bediako, you got to be bigger. This team's got to rebound better collectively.
Yeah.
So having him come off the bench as the 2 or the 1 has made a difference. And again, it's that type of unselfishness when you're trying to figure it out, and unselfishness from a veteran. You get the same thing from Houston Millette that gives them a chance to be really successful. Just from a locker room standpoint, how much does that help? Instead of guys having the mentality of, hey, I'm a senior, I've stuck around, it's my turn. For them to be servant leaders almost, what does that do within the locker room, especially one as small as a basketball locker room is?
Man, tell you what, man, it does a lot for the locker room. You got guys that can swallow their pride and and put the team first, and letting people know like it's nobody bigger than the program. And so you got a guy like Latrell, coming off averaging 20 points in the last 2 or 3 games, like that's big. And especially when you can go to the bench and don't have a drop off at the guard position. And so it's tough finding those guards that can kind of do everything, see the court and shoot it, and take it to the hole. Nowadays it's tough, especially when you got shorter guards, right? And so you have guys like him, man. And he just got that mad dog mentality, and let you know that I might be 5'11", 6 foot or 6'1", whatever he is, but I play like I'm 6'9", and that's how I carry myself. And so I think having guys like that, having seniors on a team and that have that experience, and being through different teams, because every team is unique. And so I think this team has now found their way, and they're they're getting into it, man, to where it's the right time to get going and to find that groove.
Yeah. Want to think to that point, we're talking about size and rebounding with Latrell coming off the bench. It's allowed him to play Amari Allen or London Jemison, or really both, because Amari's starting. But
Yeah.
London has started the last couple of games. Another freshman. Both of those guys 6'8", 205, and have the ability to play a 3 or the 2, but also big enough, obviously, at 6'8", and in Nate Oates' system can play the 4 also. So a lot of versatility that's available to them. But I also love the fact that you and I refer to Latrell Wrightsell as a shorter guy when he's taller than both
6'3".
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sorry.
taller than both of us. So, but I'm with you. Let's wrap
It's
it up.
crazy because when he's on the court, you can't tell he's 6'3" because everybody's 6'8" and 6'9".
Yes.
That's just like I love Chris Paul, and people don't realize how tall Chris Paul, or even Steve Nash. Like, I met Steve Nash in person, and I'm like, dang, you way taller in person than I thought you was on TV.
When you're standing, that's like me on this show. I'm not a bad looking guy, but you put me next to you and AJ, I got no shot at getting any credibility. All right, let's finish up today with a new segment that Steve's put together. And again, our producer does a phenomenal job of coming up with some really creative stuff for us and helping us lay out the show. We couldn't do what we do without him. He's awesome. But he's come up with an idea for you and kind of a bit from you each week. Short yardage is what we're calling. Yeah, you could, in a short yardage situation, you're going to get us 2 if that's what we need. Now, we know that could bust and go to the house as well, but it's a segment where you're going to pick a little short topic that isn't really in our show otherwise, but one of those is got that you're going with this week features a former Bama running back himself, and he is not a short guy that we're talking about in Derrick Henry.
Yes, sir. He is the king for a reason, man. He gave a great quote, and I don't know who he was talking to, but man, he's speaking of the mindset, and he's speaking of the unique of the players, right? And I know you got a quote coming up, and definitely you can get into that, and I'll kind of explain a little bit more.
That's right. My apologies. I didn't set it up very well. He was talking. Steve, help me out. Where was this originally? CBS Sports Podcast. Thank you very much. Talking about the current coaching situation. He goes, I mean, you're going to have growing pains. You know, Coach Saban had his growing pains. Coach DeBoer will have his. But for you to be able to get back to that mountaintop and be the top dog as far as a man and a player, you've got to have the mindset of wanting to do that. I think what gave me confidence, and he's talking about in Coach, he said it's never going to go away. But whatever you're going to do with your time there, and I feel like the only way we're going to get back is if you get into that and go do that. He's just talking about the mindset and the mentality of being the best. And now, again, it's all relative because everybody, including the guy in the head coach's office, is disappointed in the way the last 2 seasons have ended and in the fact that we lost 4 ball games. The reality is, in his first year, he won 9. This past year, he not only got to a college football playoff, he won a game in the CFP. It ended, fizzled out in a big way in the Rose Bowl. But if we're talking, from a 30,000-foot view, Trent, they've gotten some good things accomplished. But from the Alabama perspective and the reason that Kalen DeBoer came to Alabama, it has not gotten there just yet. But what have we got to do in order to get it to the place that we're all happy?
I think Derrick Henry, the king, right? Yeah, I think he said it the best, man. When you're talking about like preaching the mindset, and through the growing pains that Coach Saban had, because it was pains when he first got there, right? You know, and like even the second year, making to the SEC championship, I think that was the goal instead of the end day goal of winning the national championship. And so, and the next year we won it. And then the next year, you your team is kind of partying off the championship before. And so, nobody feel more bad than losing than the players, right? Like at the end of the day, no matter what, nobody think. I know you people give them hard times and saying, I don't think they care, they just and that. But at the end of the day, like we care about it. Like this is us putting our product out there. This is us, going out there, risking everything and trying to make it to the next level at the end of the day too, right? And we want to hold everybody accountable, but at the same time, like you don't want to let nobody down. You don't want to let your school down. You don't want to let your fans down. You don't want to let your coach down. You don't want to let yourself down. And so we get it, and then the next year, I made the quote that, never again when they had the Cam Newton game and they came back and all this other stuff. And so, having that mindset to just do it, to just, get to the next level and not to get, to try to, persevere through this thing and just be resilient, at your game planning and the small meticulous things like you can do, to say that, okay, this is what we did last year. All right, let's take all them growing pains from last year. Okay, what did we do wrong? How can we perfect this? How can we get better? How can we get better to where we can't mess it up no more, right? And at the end of the day, the other team, they get paid too. They're trying to game plan for the next thing, the next camp, the next week, all this other stuff too. So at the same time, man, we just gotta, mentally block out all the haters. Block out, take this as it is, take it with, take it on the chin. And so, I love what Derrick said in this one, man. So if you don't have a mindset to it, it's never gonna go like you think it is.
That's going to wrap it up for Short Yardage, but also for the Dynasty, our podcast this week. AJ back with us from Dallas next week, along with Trent Richardson. I'm Chris Stewart, and for our producer, Steve Gorgie. Thanks so much for joining us. Roll Tide and check us out at the Dynasty.